Good evening, folks. I'm sorry for that little video there. Something happened and everything, so I had to reset it. So I hope everyone is having a good night and everything. Well, actually, it's good morning as of right now. And today we're going to be discussing. There's 4 topics I'm going to discuss. One about this marathon first-person shooter game. I've never heard of it, but I'm going to try to read about it and everything. There's 2 articles about it that I'm going to try to read. And the other is going to be about the first look of The Witcher, which is apparently not really Liam Hemsworth, you know. Third is going to be about Blizzard Studios and then the fourth is a Bethesda, of what is going on with their companies. So let's take a look at this, shall we? We're going to start reading here. Let me this piece right here. Okay, Marathon, everything we know about Bungie's new first-person shooter so far. There's a new Marathon game from Bungie, and it's a player versus player extraction shooter where you'll fight to survive and thrive. Marathon is making its long-awaited return with developer Bungie rebooting the series as an extraction shooter. What's interesting is that it will be releasing across PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, in spite of the studio being acquired by the PlayStation Studios Group in 2022. If you aren't with the franchise, the Marathon trilogy is what Bungie earned its reputation on before it became synonymous with Halo and Destiny. Well, first off, if I know better, Halo was the first multiplayer platform that came out. Halo 2. So, Marathon, I don't know, man. I've never heard of it being the first. So, these early first-person shooters were released between 1994 and 1996, and after a 27-year break, Bungie is returning to the universe it created with a new multiplayer-focused installment. Naturally, Bungie, working outside of the boundaries of Destiny 2, has really made Marathon one of the most anticipated the upcoming PlayStation 5 games. The new extraction shooter where you'll work solo or in a crew of 3 to survive other players and a hostile planet was unveiled at the PlayStation Showcase, and there's loads of info to wrap your head around. So keep reading to find everything you need to know about the new Marathon game, whether or not it makes it to our list of new games of PlayStation 4. 2024, man. Read it wrong. I'm a little tired, guys, so bear with me. Bear with me here. Let's see, I'm trying to hold on to the chat thing. Okay. Alright. So it's not confirmed yet when it's releasing. Bungie is yet to set a Marathon release date. In fact, it sounds as if the game is still fairly early in development. Marathon's general manager Scott Taylor says there's still a lot of work to do before launch, or even before we're ready to talk about the game in more detail. Before adding that it's still too early to give a timeline on when more information will be coming. When Bungie does pull back the curtain in the future, it'll be able to show you the gameplay and be much closer to launch. In October 2023, following layoffs at Bungie, both Marathon and Destiny 2, the final shape have been pushed back. The latter is expected to launch this year in 2024, but there's no word yet on how soon we'll be seeing Marathon. Marathon will be released on PlayStation, PC, Xbox Series. While Sony acquired Bungie in 2022, the studio is committed to being a multi-platform studio. As part of the commitment, the studio has confirmed that the new Marathon game will feature full cross-play and cross-save support. Marathon is a new first-person shooter from Bungie, creators of Halo and Destiny. This is the first completely new project from Bungie in over a decade. and it's distinct from the Marathon games that were released for Mac OS back in the 90s. Instead, this new Marathon game is set to be a person versus person focused extraction shooter where you'll need to compete with other players for riches, renown, and survival in an ever evolving world. Bungie Marathon is a sequel. Bungie may be known for the Halo and Bungie franchise, but before all of that, it was known for building a series of fantastic first-person shooters called Marathon, Apple Macintosh exclusive games which were released between 1994 and 1996. Christopher Barrett, game director for the new game Marathon game, has confirmed that this player versus player focused first-person shooter is not a direct sequel to the originals, but something that certainly belongs in the same universe. Barrett adds, "You don't need to know anything about Marathon to understand or play this game. But if you do, we made the experience with references and deep cuts you'll recognize." Marathon gameplay details. While Bungie is recognized as one of the key players behind the first-person shooter genre's ascents on console, thanks in part to its work with Halo in the earliest years of Xbox Live, the studio has never made a focused player versus player experience that will change the Marathon, where gameplay will be specifically focused around your ability to navigate encounters with other players on the wells of Todd City 4, either running solo or in the crews of 3. Interesting. So these are the people that did Halo and Destiny, but I don't know. You'll play as a runner, venturing into the unknown areas of the planet to fight other players and AI-controlled enemies to secure loot and valuable resources, all of which you'll be able to reinvest into your character, should you survive long enough to extract, that is, while Bungie is yet to show the game in action. Game director Christopher Barrett teases that Bungie wants to make sure players have tons of strategic choices, both in terms of the gear available and their loadouts, but also on the ground in terms of tactical options, entrance and exfil points, and so on. Barrett also teases that there will be a variety of ways to win in Marathon besides surviving, and that there will be a whole mess of intriguing survival systems to contend with, speaking to Bungie's hopes to make the genre more approachable. One of the ways we're addressing this is by making the core fantasies of survival and extraction fun, clear, and easy to understand. We want people to quickly understand fundamentals like healing or oxygen or how to organize their gear. After all, if they get those things intuitively, there's much more room for tactical thinking, creativity. You know it's our job to create the fun in fantasy, not the busy work and routine. So this is a Marathon will be multiplayer only. Of course, it's not. It doesn't look like it's single. So far that I'm reading about this game is like it's almost like as if it does remind me of what game is this called? Fortnite. Yeah, this thing reminds me of Fortnite, but it's with Bungie. It's the creators of Halo and Destiny. So all this is just multiplayer. Let's see what they've just said so far about it. Let's see what they discovered. So This was released when? Let me see. This new article that I'm reading just now. This came out this year on January 11th. All right. So now we are at what? What's going on with my mouse? Uh-oh. I'm having a little. Oh, there we go. I'm just trying to look for my mouse. For a minute there, I lost it. All right, let me. Sorry about this, guys. So right now, this is 10 hours ago about this game. So after 30 years, the beloved Bungie first-person shooter that paved the way for Halo is now on Steam. Let me see if I got it on the channel. Okay, here we go. Now you guys get a better. That's weird. Thought I. Weird. There we go. Yeah. That was kind of weird, but I got it. Okay. So here we go. Marathon, the classic first-person shooter from Bungie that paved the way for Halo, is now on Steam, thanks to members of the community, and its 2 sequels are set to follow soon. Today we're thrilled to announce that the F1 community is bringing the original 1984-1986 Marathon trilogy to Steam, starting with Marathon 1. Bungie says on Twitter, "Thank you to the Marathon community for your support over the years. We couldn't do it without you. The original Marathon is already live on Steam. Both Marathon 2 and Marathon Infinity have store pages ready to go. All 3 games are set to be free. The Marathon trilogy was essentially Bungie's answer to Doom, just developed for Mac computers and featuring a much more intricate narrative. Lore details established in Marathon continue to be referenced in future Bungie games, ranging from the Halo to Destiny, and the franchise is currently being rebooted with the simply titled Marathon, player versus player extraction shooter that debuted last year's PlayStation Showcase." Bungie actually released the whole Marathon trilogy as a freeware decades ago, and a group of community developers has been building the Aleph 1 engine to keep the games alive for ages. If you're not particular about playing your games on Steam, you can grab the entire trilogy right now for the free on the Aleph 1 website. An upgraded port of Marathon 2 was also released on Xbox 360, and this version remains playable on modern Xbox consoles. It's interesting about this game. I just don't know much about it, but it is interesting. Alright. Now, let's go with Blizzard. Let's go with the Blizzard title now. Make sure that we are. Yep, just want to make sure that we are on this page. Former Blizzard president gives Xbox advice about brutal studio closures. This all comes down to making great games. Alright. So let's see what we got. Alright. As the Xbox community reels from brutal round of studio closures from Blizzard, President Mike Garibaldi is urging the company to redirect its focus toward making great games. Shortly after the grim news was announced, the Xbox had shut down for studios. including Redfall, Dev, Arcane, Austin, Hi-Fi Rush, Studio, Tango Gameworks. Yabata shared a lengthy Twitter post defending Xbox boss Phil Spencer's character and expressing sympathy for those impacted by the disclosures. In something of a follow-up, Yabba takes a slightly more critical tone and other offers his former employer some strategic guidance. Yabata prefaces his message by assuring, "I 100% love Xbox and think Xbox can find a path of great success for their teams and players around the world. 100%, 110%." And although he goes on to repeatedly praise Xbox and calls Microsoft CEOs Satya Nadella, I guess that's the pronouncing, fantastic leader, he does assert the tragedy isn't working as expected, and says strategies have to continually shift in a market that moves as fast as gaming studios. Without addressing the recent studio closure directly, the tone of Ibarra's tweet overall is lovingly critical, if not disapproving. Again, the worry at the time's repetitive tweet is peppered with instances of "I wish great success for Xbox" and "I'm cheering for Xbox." But ultimately, this is 800 words of advice directed toward a company in the midst of PR crisis of its own making. I don't know, man. I'll say again, this all comes down to making great games. If you make the great games, consumer demand will follow, and your business can do well even in low market growth years. Great game is a $500 million to $1 billion profit generator for business acting across platforms. If you aren't making great games, then your hardware isn't selling and your subscription is flattening. Clarity of strategy or execution is broken somewhere and needs to be fixed, inclusive of maturing leadership and team capability to drive great game development and growth. He continues, though they 100% have teams who can make great games, it just isn't consistently happening. In Yabio's mind, Xbox has two paths to success. Going all in on platform exclusivity, Game Pass, and hardware in a big plan, which he sees as the high risk, high reward plan that convicts a strong desire to win, or ditching hardware entirely and full embracing its identity as a publisher across all platforms. This is interesting. This is kind of... Being the world's largest publisher of games is a great spot to be in, as long as you can make great games, adds Ibarra. If you can't, you'll be right back where you started. You have to pick your lane and go hard for success. Or clear communication to your players. If you play in the middle of these two paths, IMHO, you'll hurt your teams and you'll have constant churning chaos. It starts and ends with a strong desire to win and making great games that exceed player expectations. That is what is fragile now and needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Ibarra is firmly in Xbox's corner despite leaving the company at the beginning of the year and amid a restructuring that resulted in 1,900 redundancies. And although he says he's cheering for Xbox, it pains me to see all the negative swirl. He does give fans of the brand some two-pronged words of wisdom. Keep the faith in Xbox, but ask for clarity on what the path forward is for the brand and product. Then make your own decision on what is best for you. and your valuable time and money. But the problem is, bro, Microsoft. You see, Microsoft bought a lot of companies, man. They bought so many companies because they were trying to compete with Sony, man. But you know, right now the problem what's been going on with these game companies that are layoffs is because of all this inflation that's happening, you know, and that's something that they should consider, you know. Yeah, that's it for this. But it's like I said, dude. I mean, I feel sorry for these companies, man, that are getting laid off, bro. Let's check out this one right here. All right, let me check the channel. Make sure I am there. Okay. Okay. All right. Xbox President Sarah Bond responds to Bethesda studio cuts, points to lack of industry growth and need to manage the business through this moment of transition. All right. Let me just check one thing real quick so far to see how we're doing. All right, so far we're okay. Just gotta hope that nothing goes wrong. All right, so let's get on the article and we're gonna start reading here. All right. Xbox President Sarah Bond has responded to the questions about Microsoft's decision to shut a number of much-loved studios this week, insisting it was both ensuring the Xbox business remains healthy for the long term during what she called the missed moment of transition. Microsoft shocked the gaming world when it announced the closure of Redfall and Prey developer Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush, and the Evil Within developer Tango Gameworks, and more devastating cuts targeted at Bethesda owner ZeniMax. Evil Within, they're pretty good games, man. They've been pretty good games. Microsoft bought ZeniMax Media, the parent company of developers like Bethesda, Arcane, ID Software, and more, in 2021 for $7.5 billion. Since then, it has bought Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. Yeah, I remember that. In an email to staff sent by Matt Booty, the head of Xbox Game Studios, Microsoft blamed the cuts on a reprioritization of titles and resources. In the email first reported by ADM, Booty said, "We are making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games." Microsoft has faced widespread criticism from the development community and Xbox fans following the move, with many pointing out that Hi-Fi Rush was a critically acclaimed and, according to one Xbox executive, hugely successful release. Speaking in an interview with Bloomberg's Dana Bass at Bloomberg Tech in San Francisco, Xbox President Sarah Bond was first asked about the video game industry's current lack of growth. Troubling factor, Xbox boss Phil Spencer pointed to recently when asked for an explanation of Microsoft's decision to cut 1,900 staff from its gaming business. You know, the last year or so in video games, largely the industry's been flat, Bond replied. And even in 2023, we saw just some tremendous releases, tremendously groundbreaking games, but still the growth didn't follow all of that. A lot of that's related to our need to bring new players in and make gaming more accessible, but all of that has been happening at the same time that the costs associated with making and these beautiful AAA blockbuster games is going up. and the time it takes to make them is going up. And so much of our focus is, as Xbox is about how we do things to help the industry all up, while also ensuring that our brand, everything that we do, is there enough this moment of transition. Man, dude. Yeah, they're having it tough. I know they're having it tough right now. Bond was then asked directly about this week's decision to close ZeniMax Studios. Responding, she pointed to the industry's current failure to meaningfully grow its audience and the desire to ensure Xbox survives this transition. You know, it's always extraordinarily hard when you have to make a decision like that. I'll go back to what I was saying about the industry. And when we looked at those fundamental trends, we feel a deep responsibility to ensure that the games we make, devices we build, services that we offer are there through moments even when the industry isn't growing and when you're through a time of transition. And the news we announced earlier this week is an outcome of that, and our commitment is to make sure that the business is healthy for the long term. Wow, dude, holy damn. Whoa! Jesus, man. And I am tired. How do they do it, bro? I love to know how they do it. I really like to know how these guys do it. The only thing I can think of is they drink a lot of energy drinks, which I really don't like. All right. But that said, our commitment to having our own studios and working with partners to have games large and small. We're a platform where you can play Grand Theft Auto, but you can also play Power World, where you can play Call of Duty. You can also play Repentiment, and doesn't change. And frankly, our commitment to Bethesda and the role that it plays its part of Xbox in everything we do. It's actually been pretty fantastic. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to check it out. The Fall TV show was on Amazon, and it's been great to see people fall in love with that universe. But also what's done for the games themselves and people going back and exploring everything that's inside of that. There's some other great things that are coming from our studios later this year. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I was a big indie fan growing up. It looks like you were too, so you should check that out. But really, right now, for us and our teams, our focus is on the people impacted and doing everything we can to help them through the hard transition. Bond was then asked specifically about the closure of Tango Gameworks in the context of Hi-Fi's Rush. Let me see. There we go. And so we look at each other. So you know. Let's see if I read it. Okay, for what success? There's no one size fits all of it for us. And so we look at each studio, each game team, but we can all at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the devices we build, the services, and the ensuring that we're setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises. We look at each studio, each game team, and we look at the whole variety of factors where we're faced with the making trade-offs like that. Let's see if I got it. Okay, here we are. Bond's answer here is already going viral for failing to properly address the issue at hand. IGN has reported Xbox leadership held a town hall meeting with ZeniMax staff on Wednesday, May 8th, and during it attempted to answer key questions around the decision to close Bethesda Studios. IGN understands Booty told staff the closure of the Arcane Austin was not about the fear of last year's disastrous Redfall, rather about the future prospects of the studio. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier has reported that ZeniMax was under pressure to make significant cuts and choose Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin because they were in the process of pitching projects that would have required increased investments rather than the studios already working on greenlit games. One person's attendance at the meeting told IGN that the suggestion was that because these studios were currently pitching new games, they had the weakest legs to stand on and when it came to picking who to cut. So yeah, man, this hasn't been good for these game studios, man. Not been good at all, especially for Xbox. In the town meeting, Moody reiterated that Hi-Fi Rush was a success, but according to a person in attendance, staff were told that the factors for that success had changed in the years since, and so the studio's prospects had lowered, and has been reported Tango Gameworks had pitched Hi-Fi Rush 2 as a follow-up project. IGN understands that the Hi-Fi Rush 2 pitch was rejected in part because it deemed too expensive. Underpinning all of this is concern about the overall health of the Xbox business and the wider gaming industry. Microsoft, currently worth more than $3 trillion, faces declining revenue year over year for its gaming business when Activision is taking out the equation, as well as the stagnant Game Pass subscriber growth. Sales of Xbox consoles have collapsed at the time when development costs are rising. Add this to reported increased internal scrutiny on Microsoft's game business following Activision Blizzard acquisition, and you have a recipe for disaster. Yes, like I said, the problem is, bro, to me, what I think the thing is, you're making these kind of decisions on buying companies in a time when you have Joe Biden as president, bro. And of course, when inflation goes up, everything gets pricey. Like groceries, gas, medicines, mortgage rates, insurances, and then buying companies or making new projects in movies and shows. Prices are going up, man, and that's not looking good. You know? I do feel sorry for these companies, man. I hope things turn out better for them, bro. Alright. Let's see right now where we're at. Okay, we read about Blizzard. Read about this marathon. And we did the Bethesda. Now let's talk about this last one right here. And this is The Witcher. Okay. Now, all of you know that Henry Cavill, he left The Witcher after season 3 because of what was going on in the behind the scenes. Because at first, the showrunner, she did not want Henry Cavill in the show. But a lot of the fans begged him. A lot of the fans begged this to happen, bro. Because Henry Cavill's a fan. He's a fan of the games franchises like The Witcher and then Warcraft. So, of course, season 1, to me, it was good. I enjoyed it, season 1. Season 2 was good, but it kind of focused more on Yennefer and Ciri. But you know, the title is The Witcher, so it shouldn't be about other characters and taking over the show. It should be about Geralt, and that's what people need to remember. That's what studios, showrunners need to remember. So now that Henry Cavill's gone, Liam Hemsworth has taken over the mantle. But how's it going to go? I don't think it's going to go successful. Well, let's read this, what we have so far. The Witcher Season 4 set photo gives us our first indication of what Liam Hemsworth's Geralt could look like, thanks to his stunt double. So, the photo that I'm going to show is not actually Liam Hemsworth, but it's more of a stunt double. And there he is. There it is right here. Let me see. There he is right here. See, that's the stunt double right now, because that's not Liam Hemsworth. Man, dude. I'll tell you one thing, and I'll tell you one thing right now, dude. This is probably going to be... I don't know, man. I think this is not going to go well, man. I don't think this ain't going to go well at all in this project. So, you guys let me know what you think about this one. You let me know what you guys think. But let's see. Alright. Let me see what else we got here. Hopefully an official reveal is forthcoming. A table red photo is as close as we've got so far, but one of the show's producers has teased that Hemsworth looks awesome in the Geralt makeup. Speaking to Express Online, Tomek Bankinski said, "One thing I can tell is I've already seen Liam in the Witcher makeup and in the Witcher look, and he looks awesome. Elsewhere in The Witcher's future, an anime movie titled Sirens of the Deep sees Geralt's game actor Dul Coquel reprise his role of a seafaring skirmish at Kananakali, set between the 5th and 6th episodes of The Witcher's first season." Interesting. I miss Henry Cavill playing The Witcher. But I didn't watch season 3 because I knew it was going to fail. It was going to flop like crazy, dude. And to be honest, what was the point of watching season 3 when Henry Cavill was never going to come back, period. Okay, so that's going to be it for right now in this page, what I got. So, let me guys know what you think about these topics. If you like the video, hit that like button, post a comment below, and just like I said, let me know what you think about these topics that I discussed, and share this video out there. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me, and I hope to see you guys later. Alright, good night everyone. I'm going to bed. See ya.